All right, how's that for a little motivation?
That was awesome.
Well, welcome to the stream, guys. Today we're going to be working a little bit more on the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm going to work on finishing up the grandstand texture, get that model completely done, hopefully today. And I'll also be working on getting the textures finished for the Xfinity hauler.
I'm still a little pumped about that video, to be honest. Just in case, I don't know if you mentioned it, James, or not, but we're also on multi-Twitch, so you can look at that as well, so you can see us working on the same track here simultaneously.
I'm also trying a bot in chat, so you can try some of the commands there on my chat.
Okay, one of the things we had talked about offline there, James, was, and even the other night there was, we needed a starter stand, and couldn't find one, I guess, that was close enough, I guess, to the actual, so built my own. So I got that. This is what I've got thus far. But like you pointed out, James, to me earlier offline, there's that dirt shield that's on the one side there, I guess, to protect the starter, I guess, from all the flying mud and whatever. I'll probably add that. And of course, going through a lot of the picture references that we have for this track, um, the fence texture itself is actually incorrect. This is more or less a placeholder as it sits right now. Needs to be taller as well as the texture changed. And I did get what I feel is the closest track condition light or caution light in place. I think I may edit it a little bit to conform, I guess, to the actual ones there. I don't think the shields that more or less cover the lights themselves are quite that deep. So I'll probably adjust those as well. So first things first, let's play around with fence texture, a different fence texture for these. This is what's currently in there right now, and it was borrowed, I believe, from the Eldora Speedway build done a while back. It's served as a nice placeholder for now, but we're going to change it. Get it correct.
All right, sorry about that. Trying to get everything set up here to get going.
No problem there, James.
And I've got some texture work to do. I noticed on the side of the main media center there on top of the grandstand, the repeating pattern of the siding was a little bit wrong because it's a different scale.
Oh, sounds like you got your work cut out for you too.
Yeah.
We're both in the same boat. Okay, walls, fence. I'm definitely gonna have to do some adjustments with that new fence texture, but that's not that big a deal. Ubat seems to be working alright.
Looks like it.
Keep in mind, any viewers that are out there, chat boxes are available on either our individual streams or in the multi-Twitch. We're checking, monitoring those um, regularly, I guess, just to make sure if there's any questions. Um, feel free to ask or
Yeah, in that video, I noticed that they had fireworks during the green flag state as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all those different flag states. I mean, either caution. We know there's a caution light trigger. That's been obvious. I mean, plenty of caution lights and stuff have been done in the past, so we know that's available. So there has to be something that's that trigger for checkered flags. I guess to have some type of celebratory thing happen. Be awesome.
I also noticed that they use the area between the starter stand and the main grandstand for victory lane.
Well, I saw the cars parking in there, and I know that has been brought to my attention too. That it's kind of a staging area up in that area too, especially out of the turn four, because they come out of the turn 3 and 4 area and they stage. And they come out and parade out of there. So I was aware of that, but I wasn't necessarily aware of the fact that they're right, in front of the grandstands, but like you said, behind the starter stand. In other words, I guess to keep that path kind of open there somewhat.
Did you have a texture for the front of the media tower?
As far as what?
Kind of a straight on shot, just so I can get the scripting for the um, track label and the red part.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got that. Let me bring that up. Oh, where did I put it? I know I got it. Yeah, this one right here. Got it up right now. Well, might be delayed a little bit, but
Yeah, that's perfect. Can you send that to me?
sure can.
And if you're just joining us, welcome to the stream.
There you go, James. Should be in your chat there. Sorry, it took so
Got
long.
it. Thanks.
I had to get it off the main system.
Cool. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, where was I? Yeah, fences.
So you're working on adjusting the fence properties.
Yep. I put a different fence texture that I had on there, and in the process of doing that, it misaligned. I guess all the, especially where the wall ends are. I'm going through as I do this, I guess, to make sure the spacing of each post um, through the turn, 3 and 4 here right now, just making sure those are all lining up. Have some that are really close together, way out there, all that. See, like this one right here, spacing on that is different, so I'll have to adjust that. The next segment.
What do you think of this font? The only letter that looks off is the R.
Now let's see what you have. Okay. It's hard to tell Okay, you already skewed it. There you go. I don't know. I don't think that looks bad. I think the color might be a little too dark. But yeah, I see what you mean about the R. It's got kind of like that little foot there as opposed to a kickstand.
Everything else looks exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Other than that R.
It almost looks like the Microgramma R.
You do, I know.
Almost looks like the Microgramma R
Right.
or Gamma or whatever it
Oh,
is.
yeah, whatever that is, yeah.
Actually, this one doesn't look terrible either.
See what you got there. No, I don't think it's that bad at all. Looking at what font is that?
I'm going to butcher that name, but it's Kartika.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, that's about one half done of the fence. People must be afraid to chat. Don't be shy, anybody out there. Viewers out there.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions. We're here to chat with you guys. So now I just realized that I went through all the trouble of re patterning the sides to make it match the front. There is no siding on the front edge at all.
Not even where the slogan is?
No. Wait a minute. Maybe there is.
I wasn't sure about the red below the windows, but I thought there was something there, I guess, where the slogan's at least.
I think you're right. I think there is some at the top, but I can't tell about the red. In some places it looks like there is, and other places it doesn't. It would make more sense that there is siding there. I mean,
Right. You talking about the red or where the slogan's at?
both.
Right. Well, see, if anything, I figured they would have this wood, like painted wood, I guess, where the slogan's at. Something to attach. I don't know how, if that's lit or whatever, I'm assuming it is.
Kind of looks like it's just vinyl on top of siding,
Okay.
or maybe it's just plywood.
Okay, it looks like I got the textures for the fences adjusted. Now I'm gonna change the height. I think what I'll do before I go any further is I'll save this. Very good idea. Right now it's at 4. I think maybe if I just go up one more, that might do it. Let's see how that looks. That looks about right. I'm satisfied. Really hard to see that fence texture, I guess. All I can see is the main grand right now working on the front stretch.
Oh yeah.
The black, the texture I had on there previously before I changed it, I could see it a lot easier because it was a darker texture for the fence.
Oh yeah, because they're both gray, light gray.
Right, it kind of blends in there. And it's like, okay, where are you at? Quit hiding from me. Got to protect those spectators in the stands. Still nobody chatting. Interesting. Quiet today.
Yeah, you'll have that sometimes. That's all right.
We don't bite. Trust us. You want us to.
Hopefully, it doesn't seem like I'm shouting too much. I'm using over the ear headphones this time, and I feel like I'm shouting sometimes.
No, you sound fine here. I'd adjusted the mic settings from the last session we did there because no, you had mentioned and had watched the video, and it sounded like I was like very soft. So hopefully I sound better.
All right, tell me what you think of that there.
Let's see where we're at. Oh, looks good so far. Now, does that in that picture, does it? I know you had mentioned it does look like vinyl, I guess, on plywood or whatever. Yeah, I guess there is no shadow. They're not raised or anything like that. So, oh, that looks good. Does it does it actually go all the way across the top of it like that? I think it's more into the center, isn't it?
Let me check one of my other photos here.
Is that one I sent you? Is that too close?
Yeah, as far as that goes.
Okay. Got another picture too. It's further out. Let's see where to go. Yeah, I've got this one here too. Looks like you probably got probably a good 6, 7 feet. You know, looking at it, I guess on either side. It's kind of somewhat more centered. If you can see that, I'll zoom in on it.
Yeah, it's a little bit skinnier than what I got there.
Can you see that pic in mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've got that one too. That's that one that's out of 4, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. Following that. Gonna look so much better, I guess, once we get some type of library, I guess, outside of 3 and 4 there, like the drag strip and whatnot.
Yeah, I might start some of the base objects over there. I don't know.
I've got the motor grader to put in there. The heck else was over there? I'm trying to remember besides the drag strip. Look at my picture again.
As far as race weekend, there must be at least 150 haulers around that track.
Oh, at least. And they have to put them all outside, between the outside of turn 2. Um, I think all the way behind 3 and 4 as well. I mean, they're all back there, head of the forest. Okay, we got the
There
drag.
we go. That looks better.
Cool. Yeah, looking at the one picture reference that I have there, it's looking from the stands to turn 4, and then obviously out in the outfield you can see the drag strip. Trying to determine these two little pylons or whatever they are. They look like, are those like water towers or something?
Sorry about that. A loud car went by. Not sure.
Yeah, they're those two white deals. You can see it kind of more to the right side of the picture.
Yeah, I see it, but I'm not sure what they are.
I've seen those before, but I can't remember what their purpose is. Kind of like cylindrical. I don't know if that's like a where they get their fuel. Possibility.
I was thinking some kind of farming application. Maybe that's where they keep all the speedy dry.
Oh, that might be too. Of course, that might be more for the drag strip as opposed to the dirt track, because obviously it wouldn't need too much speedy dry unless they need it in the pit area there.
Well, that's close enough to where they could keep it for the speedway too.
Oh, the big track, you mean?
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, looking again at that picture, I think, yeah, I can see the shields on the caution lights. Zoom in on that. Yeah, okay, they're angled. Shallow, okay. Deal.
So, do you see any reason to keep the back facing on this grandstand?
Let's. I usually don't keep any back facing at all. You know, because you don't really see it. And as far as cameras and such go, you know, I don't. They're all going to be ahead of it, so whatever polys you can reduce, the better.
Yeah, that gets rid of 18 there.
18. Are you clicking them all?
Make that 20 total.
Yeah.
So, total 65 is what's left.
Now, are you still in the UVW map?
I end up going back and forth between editable poly and mapping.
Right. See, my experience has always been whenever you have that unwrapper open, it tends to step on the mapping. You're doing that type of stuff as far as removing polys or just adjusting the model itself while you're mapping.
After I'm done mapping, I'll convert it back to a poly, then edit the polygons, and then I'll edit a poly again, and then I'll apply the modifier back to it.
So you just apply the modifier back to it. Yeah, see, I always, yeah, I guess that's maybe that's where I've been doing it wrong.
It seems like if it has that little gray box, I have no idea what it means, but if it has that little gray box next to the word poly or any of the faces or anything, the mapping gets screwed up.
Yeah, I guess I never noticed that before too. That you mention it. I'll have to note of that.
Yeah, because once you convert it back to editable poly and then there's no more gray box there, then applying the UVW map or modifier again, everything works fine.
Interesting, because usually what I'll do, what I've gotten into the habit of doing, is just save the mesh. I'll save the model 3ds, um, just to remove the modifier to maintain the mapping. I'll reopen it, edit whatever verts or polys that I want to do, and then reapply the modifier. This way, it ensures me that I don't lose any of that mapping. Yep, looks good. I'm tracking on what I'm doing, no. Right along, adjust these fences. Did you see on my feed there how I've got that scrolling text on the bottom? That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
It's pretty neat too because you can slide it. You can have it go either direction and change the speed. I give it a try.
I suppose that eliminates the need for constantly telling people what you're doing too. So
Oh, and that's exactly what as a reviewer, it's like, I shouldn't have to keep saying, what we're doing. It's like if new viewers come in, they'll know. And the beauty of it is you can change that text to whatever you're working on the fly. Yeah, we were sitting there talking about the way to implement that infield in there. My first thought, be it that it's relatively flat in that area, was just to do a 3DO, but it may be and it may end up being a combination of a 3DO like in the center and some TSDs, I guess, to make those pathways, because they have like I don't like for the safety vehicles and what have you, I guess, that go into the infield. That'll probably be in another session, but just trying to think ahead, spitballing. Let's see, where am I at now? Okay, I've got the fence done.
we're just going to get the textures ready to start the tree line and drag strip later, and then I'm going to switch over to the Xfinity hauler. That's something interesting is I don't see those silos that you were talking about.
In the Google Earth, you mean?
Yeah.
I was looking at the one I've got in here. here. If I turn the textures off, I think if I'm looking at this right and going by the picture reference I was talking about earlier, they'd be right here. These two items. They're either these two or these two right here.
Looking at the street view, I believe it's the yellow ones because I think they're painted yellow with a Safety Clean logo on it.
Okay. Now the one pick I have, they look white. They don't have any kind of logo on it. So that pick I have, it might be older. You know, if it's got Safety Clean on it, that would suggest that's me. That would be Speedy Dry.
I can't imagine what else it would be. Don't they keep water on hand for dirt tracks?
Yeah, but they usually have water trucks for that. But that might be where they fill the water trucks up with too.
Yeah, it could be.
That's something else you gotta add too. Motor grader, water trucks. Two essentials for a dirt track. And then there's a piece of equipment, and the name of it eludes me at the time, but it looks like a same type of deal, I guess, that they use for like ball diamonds, you know, to kind of beat up the dirt a little bit. I guess it reminds me of a roller drum, and it's got like spiky, knobby things on it.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure what the name of it is.
Yeah, that's like I said, the name of it eludes me. You know, if there was something else that I cared to want to construct for the track as far as signage and whatever goes, there we do still need the Charlotte for the walls.
Oh yeah.
Something neither one of us have done yet. Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the start finish line where the starter stand is, and it's got that right underneath, centered under the starter stand. Not sure if I want to edit the starter stand. I might do that. Add that dirt shield that's on the one side. Maybe I'll do that.
Um, go ahead and try to talk me out of this. Is there any, I guess, a reason not to do it? Make that drag strip out of an object so you can basically drive the drag strip.
Oh, good. You talking about having like two tracks in one type of thing?
Just something that you goof off with. Unfortunately, I think you would get penalized online because it'd be going reverse direction of the center line.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be kind of fun to like go over there and take a spin down the drag strip, but I don't think it's worth it.
Not to do it as a two tracks in one type of thing, anyway. Probably do it as a separate deal. But we talked about that too. Basically building either the drag strip or the highway. We talked about the highway. Do that in Sandbox. Create a 3D model of it. Convert it to a 3DO, so on.
There's so many noisy cars going by today.
By your place?
Yeah,
All days, huh?
of all times, yeah.
Okay. Almost thought I didn't save this 3DS as an uncollapsed. I was like, no. Only got to add a plane, but I like to save an uncollapsed that has all the different pieces to it and a collapse, so that when I do um, run it as a pass export, it's already done, and then it can just spit out a 3DO.
Um, did you ever figure out what the trailer logo was on the Xfinity hauler?
Well, what brand it is?
Yeah,
Still haven't. No, haven't heard anything. I would assume it's a Freightliner, but due to the fact that it does have a Freightliner as an associate, that's just a guess.
I don't remember who it was, but somebody had mentioned that there was a logo missing on the back of the trailer right near the sides.
I don't doubt that, but I think the one that you've got that you've been using as a reference, it has the back end down, so I wouldn't know that unless you had one that's where it's got the back door of the ramp up.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and release it like it is. I mean,
I mean, kind of nitpicking, I suppose, at this point. I think the way, the overall graphics that's on that thing and the amount of time that's been put into it, I think it does it justice, to be honest.
it's been a couple weeks since I finished working on it, and I forget which way it's supposed to be turned to be on the object.
I think the cab needs to be to the left. I remember. I'd have to open up a default hauler and check that out.
That is correct.
I just go by memory. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll just add a double-sided plane to put that dirt shield, I guess, on that starter stand. I open up my texture. If I got room. See, what's kind of strange is that dirt screen or whatever. It's more or less see-through. You can only see the bars, I guess, that hold it up. I guess I did add it. Must have thought ahead about putting that. This is just a screen, but I could probably use that. Guess I did put that in my texture. Alrighty then.
Just going over and working on the night version of the same map.
Oh yeah, make your 2 different ones. Is that MooBot that's putting all those commands in the chat?
Yeah, I'm just periodically typing stuff in to make sure it's still working.
Okay.
It's working pretty good so far.
That's about all this chat. I think you have to have a Twitch account, I guess, to chat. Might be the one downside, like, for having the Twitch feeds.
Yeah, but I think I'd rather have a Twitch account than a Google Plus account to be able to chat on YouTube.
That's true. I know we've discussed that offline too, as far as that feature, that function. See what you're saying as far as like when you select the verts or whatever in the UVW map window, and it automatically selects in the perspective.
Yeah, that's really handy. I never knew about that before.
I did not either.
Sometimes you'll get the face flipped upside down for whatever reason, and you have to figure out which corner is which.
This texture's, and the bigger textures is even, yeah, worse. But this one's small enough to where it's not a problem.
You get a second, take a look at that night holler and see if you see anything.
Oh, so you got the night spots, shading. windshield. Yeah. Now, did you tone down, I guess, the night spots? Yeah, you wouldn't even have them on.
Yeah, and I also added some darkness to the tanks, the wheels, and the grill.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good.
It's funny using WinMap too, especially with these larger textures. Is once you click that save button, my hands go up in the air, and I'm like, I'm not touching anything until the mouse stops with that waiting logo.
You lost me a little bit there. What did you mean?
When you click save in WinMap 2, especially with the large textures, my hands just go up in the air automatically. I'm like, I'm not touching anything until it comes back.
Oh, right. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, that's only 2048, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty big, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean. That's part of the reason why I tend to stay away from the bigger ones like that. Even when you're doing, I don't generally suggest that to import your car flat to your car file. It does that same thing sometimes when you use those 2048s. I like to go right into the game. Put my export, put my flat into the import exports, and then just import it through the component manager.
Now those end up being a little bit large. They're 1.33 megabytes.
That sounds pretty standard for 2048 though. That's for each day and night one.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, did you do compressed or non-compressed?
10.1.
Oh, you did a 10. I
Right.
imagine if you did a 6, it'd probably be bigger. Probably be like a 3 point something.
Yeah, it started out with 6 MB BMP.
Right. That sounds about right.
We'll go ahead and get this grandstand in here and get you a copy of it and see if you see anything that needs to be done.
That'll work. Get in here and see what it looks like in here. I put, if you watch on that I got there, I'm adding a screen to the starter stand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know it doesn't have the screen. It's more or less like a plexiglass type of thing, but I need to stretch it out. I think I'm gonna save this one first. Even look to make sure I had my image alpha on that texture. Yep, it's there. I've got a habit of create the bitmap for the texture, and then I run the bitmap through WinMip2 so that it'll automatically apply anything that's magenta as an alpha. So I end up containing, I guess, the original bitmap that I create, and then the TGA, which has the alpha. But I don't always remind myself to make sure that I select the TGA as opposed to the bitmap when applying the texture to the objects.
Yeah.
And I go to make the object, spit it out there, and it doesn't have transparency. I'm like, okay.
Ended up with a fair amount of wasted space on this texture, to be honest with you. I could have done a better job.
What does it look like?
I forgot the transparency.
Oh, on the MIP.
Yeah, you were just talking about that.
Yeah, see? Well, that's another thing too. That's another thing. I mean, when you have the alpha channel, the magenta in there, and then you don't actually apply it to the MIP when before you save it. Looking at your feed there, it doesn't look like there's not much wasted space on that.
I know there's a way to unwrap the model and have it fully optimize the space of the texture, but I'm not sure how to do it.
Yeah, that I'm not sure either. I'm gonna reset this.
Now that is pretty cool.
What's that? Oh yeah. Show that press box. Oh yeah, you got the supports underneath. Oh yeah, that's chill. See, the other thing that we need to get implemented into that model is some reflection on the windows.
Yeah.
Once I get that from you, actually, if you got it in 3ds too, as well, I should say.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the raw model before it's converted, obviously.
That'll be easier to get state switches, and then I haven't necessarily what was I gonna say? I haven't necessarily determined if want to put the 3D people on it or not. Yeah, I think it would look better, that's for sure. But
There's going to be a lot of stuff in this track, I believe, if you want to really show how it is on that typical weekend.
I know, and that's one thing that's keeping me from wanting to put 3D people in the stands because it's like,
From what I could tell, I mean, it was hollers starting at the edge of the grandstand in turn one, and it wrapped all the way around the backstretch, covered a large portion where the trees are, and then filled up basically the whole space between the drag strip and the track.
right. No, I've typically taken note of that. That's for sure. That's something else I hate when I do when I go into. I've used the quad view as far as the Windows and Macs. Always go into say like the left, and then treat it as a perspective so it goes to user. End up jacking some stuff up doing that.
Mm-hmm. Just getting all this stuff ready to send over to you.
Roger that. Finishing up this starter stand here. I'm gonna run it through Make 3DO. I think this is something you've been wanting to know too. I just exported out this collapsed version of this starter stand, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug it into Make 3DO to spit out the 3DO. I gotta make a new MIP. That's right.
It's not bad, all that stuff. The layered texture, the max scene. Do you want me to send the max scene or the 3DS?
3DS would be fine.
Okay.
I don't find any purpose for the maxing. I can load the model and have the texture, and I can apply that texture to the model. I don't need to adjust. What am I talking about? I don't need to adjust that. Yep. He's telling you. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm bringing up a command prompt to point where I've got that Make 3DO program. This is a DOS program, so. Now what I've put in here for this command, I'm queuing up the Make 3DO executable to call up this start stand pass, and because it's just a pass and it's not scripted, in other words, there's no PSG, to apply to the actual model, I use a minus P as opposed to a minus S. If it was a scripted, that I was having the make 3DO call up, it would be a minus S as opposed to a minus P. I'm going to execute this, and it is now spit out a 3DO. Now I can open this. I got 3D Sim and I can look at it there, but what you want to look at it through is the View 3D program, which is also another one I'll show in a second. This is how it looks in 3D SimEd. This is what I added here. I'm going to call up View 3D.
No whisper target found. No whisper target found.
Once you call up the View 3D program, let me show that. The View 3D program here, I've got it pointed to go automatically to this Make 3DO directory, so it'll automatically show this 3DO that it spit out. All I do is select load the 3DO. There it is, and then the adjustments for it are kind of somewhat similar to Car Viewer. Maybe not exactly, but
No whisper target found. No whisper target found.
anyway, that's how that looks in View 3D.
You know, I've never seen that used.
View 3D.
Yeah.
For some reason, my whisper on my team speaker keeps calling up, but I'm going to see if I can zoom out. There we go.
I sent you the files in case you didn't see it there.
Oh, 10.4. But you can see how this is why I like to go through View 3D as opposed to 3D SimEd, because through View 3D it'll show it exactly how it's going to show on the track. So it's like if you're missing your transparency, that'll show. I mean, it does as well in 3D SimEd, but this is more reliable as opposed to just going ahead and put it in the track and find out that way. This way,
Okay, so yeah.
This way I can just go ahead and fix it before I put it in the track. This way I know it's going to show up correctly. Now from this point, all I need to do is, since it's the same name as the one I got in there, just plop that into the track. Replace it there. Replace that. I'm going to resave that. I'm going to reload it. Now it has my dirt screen. It turned out not too bad. Okay,
There you go.
I'm gonna check and see what files you sent me here. What kind of goodies did you send me?
I gotta say, the thing that I was most worried about on this drag strip was the media building at the head of the drag strip, and it actually looks like it'd be fairly simple. However, the big grandstand that would be on your left as you're driving down the drag strip, the one that you're going to see the most of, is looking like it's going to be pretty complicated.
So it wouldn't be just as simple as doing a backside?
Well, it'd be the one facing the track, so you'd actually see the seats,
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
or at least part of it. I think that it needs to be a very simple model because it's not going to be seen close up.
Right, and what I'm wondering is if you could just make a flat plane and just apply a picture of it somehow on there. Like I said, it's going to be in the distance. You'll still be able to see it, but only
Did you see? Did you see what I'm going to have to paint?
No, I guess it didn't.
That does not look fun.
Let's see what we got. Okay, that's all right. I guess I think I see what you're saying. But I guess what I was thinking is like if you could get a picture from the opposite side of the drag strip that shows like a straight on view, I guess, of it. Just take that picture and somehow put that on a flat plane for that side. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that would be awesome.
Right. That would be best world situation there.
That's interesting because that must be a recent update. That red, white, and blue. It doesn't look like that's in the Google Earth image.
Well, you know how much they update these tracks. I mean, they almost like season to season they do. Well, you got the max file in here anyway, right?
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
Okay.
Whatever works best for you.
Yeah, like I said, the 3DS should be fine. We got the PSD in there, got all that stuff. Okay, now this is the same name as the original, correct? The model number for
It'll
you,
be main grand with the D on the end.
so it is different. I lost myself there for a second. I was like, what the heck happened to my window? Too many open. Okay, the model itself, no, you got it named the same. What I already had. That's what I was hoping for.
Now, can you tell where this is? Oh, okay, never mind. This is the back of that grandstand, so I wouldn't be doing any of this.
Yeah, we don't need any unnecessary areas. Sure. And my flash just crashed on the feed.
Looks like it's still up over here.
Okay. Oh yeah, that looks nice. I thought you had better window texture in that, to be honest.
Well, that's why I gave you the PSD.
Right. No, I thought it had like the frames and whatever on it. You know, like a separate windows.
Wasn't that on the inside though?
Inside what?
Like the frames were on the back of the glass instead of the front or outside?
Well, I mean, yeah, but you can still see them, I guess. I think I can make that work, though. I think once I get the reflection on it, it'll look...
Honestly, I made it more for the night track version.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I always try to make it for the day, and then I will tweak it from there. Yeah, I've got both versions. I'll darken them down or whatever needs to be done, I guess, to make it night. For the most part, it looks good, though. Hardy. Along with my starter stand. I'm going to adjust those caution lights, just the shields on them. Blinders, I guess they call them. And I still need to adjust that track surface texture too. Still got that anomaly from before.
No, it's looking great. Oh, I need to make sure I change that big track grandstand.
Well, you probably still got quite a bit of stuff that, like I changed the fence texture.
Completely forgot about it until you were just pointing at it there.
Yeah. I mean, as far as reference for you, yeah. Lower that that big grandstand for the big track. Okay, so what's done? Starter stand, caution lights. One of these sessions here, I'll show how to lay out the pit road as far as the individual pit stalls. looking at right now?
I'm going to go ahead and get those two objects done. That way I don't have to keep going back to it.
Which one's for the drag strip or?
No, the main track or the big track grandstand in the backing.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, if you care to want to, we need a logo to put on the walls. Charlotte with the SMI logo. Shouldn't be too hard. Completely difficult. I think I'm done with the starter stand for now.
When working on a project this big, I mean, you got to bounce back and forth a little bit, but you also have to stay focused and get some of the little details done. Otherwise, you'll overlook them.
Oh yeah. I don't argue with you there. I'm gonna edit those caution lights while I'm in max here. I'll reset this. I'll leave the make 3DO open. That'll be another session too, as far as like show you how the scripts work, how to put those together and whatnot. In fact, I could do that, and I'll need to construct something, I guess, for the main grand. I got a better idea. In fact, I got a script here for this caution light. Give you somewhat of an idea of how these things are constructed. This one's a pretty simple one, actually. Because the caution lights, you don't need a weekend switch, which would be like for testing, um, warm up, qualifying, things like that. They're more or less just a static object, and nor does it need a population switch to where they get shut off. That's one of those objects that you want them to be on, visible all the time.
Oh yeah, okay.
So this script here it's pretty straightforward. I did this back in '07. I'll show you how old this one is. But the basics behind it is anything that has a hashtag in front of it, that's just a comment. As far as like what you're doing, I guess, in the next lines.
Hang on. So what you're telling me is that Papyrus was using hashtag before it was cool, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, I don't know if Papyrus is using that or not, but basically when you're making the script, you want to put that hashtag. If you don't put it there, when you run the script through Make 3DO, it tends to want to read it, and it'll give you an error. So again, going back, I guess, to the lines that are pertinent, don't necessarily have a comment in there, but these first lines, as the lights off, lights green, lights yellow top and bottom, all that's doing is it's just drawing the model or the mesh from the pass file. So those are the individual pass files. And then in the next line, it's just determining as to when, because those are variables. I guess I should have probably noted that too. Each one of these are lights off, lights green, so on is a variable. And in each one of those pass files, I have it's only using one texture, a different area of the texture in each one of those pass files. So I want it to show at particular frames, and that's what's defined it. When the lights show, this vert C light, caution light switch. So it starts off as lights off, and when the caution comes on, it starts at frame 2, lights yellow top, bottom, so on and so forth. And you can make this, you could draw it out to each individual frame. The caution light switch tends to have a set value of 73 to 74 frames. So you want to use it, use them all to some capacity. If you don't, it tends to create it where it's like it's erratic, like in between. So you want to define, even if you do space them out like I've got them shown here. At 2 it's top, 20 it's bottom, 35 it's top again, and so on. And it gives you a certain. I've got another one that shows, and I do use each individual frame to make it more erratic. Kind of more like an LED, say for instance. The other key thing is to make sure that it's in a PSG extension, a file format, because if it's not, then Make 3DO won't do it won't read it properly. And I can't even remember where. I think what I ended up doing way back when is I took the PSG script for the car models for like building mods, and I think it was at the pits. Just took that one and just scaled it down to what I needed in there, and that way I always had that extension. And then you want to do a save and not a save as. Once you're done.
Right.
And I mean, you can use, I suppose, like say a text editor, or not a text editor, but like a hex editor, like Ultra Edit or something like that. You could get the same result. But if you don't have one, see, all I did was just open that up in Notepad, and I can edit it, save it. As long as it's got that PSG extension on there, then you're fine.
No whisper target found. No whisper target found.
Let's see what I ended up doing is I took this one that I did, obviously, like I said, back in 07. I just copied all of them, them different 3DSs to the. I gotta change that dirt track at Lowe's. It should be Charlotte, but because I'm gonna edit it, so it'll be a different model once I'm done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust those blinders or the shields over the lights.
Looks like I'm probably going to get this stuff to you and then end the stream early tonight.
Okay, which else you got to get to me?
Give me a second.
I see seen in your feed you're adjusting the grandstand, the big one. Getting down to some specifics here in these caution lights now. I know it may seem like I'm not doing anything. It goes kind of frozen, I guess, in the main monitor there, but I am working on the side here, so.
Yeah, I guess it's another thing that helps to have that scrolling text.
Yep. think I'll just finish up these caution lights and then I'll quit myself here.
I think Monday afternoons are probably going to be the long streams.
Oh, this one was a couple hours.
Looks like we're right at 2 hours now.
Yep.
So essentially the grandstand backs and the Xfinity hauler.
I got the grandstands back, I thought, didn't I?
This is the adjusted version where it's all flat on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that had that little ride up, I guess, on it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and end my stream here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing here.
Appreciate everybody watching.
Hopefully, I have a little bit better.
Check Twitter and obviously follow for notifications for our next stream. Probably sometime Sunday. I want to say around 11:30 Eastern, and most likely the main streaming day will be on Monday around 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys. I will catch you next time.